Today's review is Ninja Gaiden. This game was made by Tecmo in 1989 for the NES. This game is, without even thinking about it, a huge Nintendo classic. The game was so successful that it spawned 2 sequels. Wow, this game is good. When Ninja Gaiden 2 came out 2 years later, it was known as one of the best game sequels ever to be played, and as the front cover states, hard to beat. As for Ninja Gaiden 3, I would love to say that it is best to save this for another time in the future. Why? Well, it's not worth mentioning about it right now. Sometime after the Super Nintendo was released, Tecmo decided to re-release the series all on one big cartridge. Let's play through them all. A few generations later, Tecmo created a new journey, but this time on Microsoft's Xbox. Just like the original game on the NES, Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox was fortunate enough to have a sequel released. But this time for the Xbox 360. Only, this time it was developed by Team Ninja. Tecmo even released a Ninja Gaiden game for the PS3, but this was basically a recreation of the first game on the Xbox, with enhanced graphics and a few add-ons. But what I would like to talk about today is what I think of the original Ninja Gaiden game. Yep, the one that started it all. Let's begin. You play as the main character, Ryu Hayabusa, who has just discovered in a letter that his father was involved in a fight and died. Wow. What a nice way to discover his father's death. Ryu then decides to go on a quest for revenge. Only along the way he gets involved with some sticky situations. Situations with the CIA, his father's best friend Walter Smith, and a man named Nguio, who is hell-bent on world destruction. Now, off the storyline, this game was the very first to use cutscenes in between gameplay. This opened a way for future games to do the same process, but in different genres. The concept really gets you involved deeper in the game, which makes you ecstatic to see what happens next. Some a lot like this scene. The gameplay is awesome for an 8-bit game. The controls are easy and as simple as possible. You just jump and attack with your sword. Along the way, you may gather some weapons such as the red kunrai that comes back to you. This will tend to be one of the best weapons in the whole entire game. There are also 4 items such as the clock that freezes time. You can use this to get through areas that contain multiple enemies that might be coming at you. Now, let's look. The multiple backgrounds are cool to look at, from the streets, to the snow mountains, to the Amazon, and then the Demon Temple. This is where the Nguio awaits you. Let's see. In most games, the enemies are a pain to deal with. This makes you very frustrated. This makes you want to break the game. This makes you want to throw it out the window. Ninja Gaiden is one of those games. Now, the bosses in this game are pretty easy, but only once you get their attack pattern down. Of course, some will still give you trouble, but once you play them 1 or 2 times, they pretty much get easier, and you can pass them quicker. Be careful fighting the last 3 bosses of the game, as you'll be fighting them back to back. Now you might be wondering, why do we have to be careful? Well, if you lose to any one of them, guess where you'll be sent back? The beginning of 6-1! You have to replay! You have to go back and fight them all. God. And then, lose 6-1. Lose 6-1. Lose 6-1. Lose 6-1. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Now, being that I stated almost everything in this game, I'd like to announce that this review is over. It's fun to play except for the frustrating parts, obviously, and has a great replay value. I like this game despite some of the crap that you have to go through to progress. So, just for this being a Ninja Gaiden game, it deserves a 9.5 out of 10. See you next time.